Hey Mindset Community, Dr. Ellen here, coming to you today with your next workout. Okay, so today we've been talking a lot about accomplishment, right? And so today I want you to think about that sense of pride and happiness and that sense of accomplishment that comes with completing a goal is, interestingly enough, directly related to the size of the goal or the challenge or the accomplishment. Meaning, the harder it is, the more satisfaction there is when you accomplish it. So my husband and I were talking about doing an adventure race together, which for those of you who aren't familiar, that's an 8 to 12 hour long race where you are solving problems and riddles and using coordinates to bike, run, or swim, or canoe, or whatever the challenge might be in order to get to these different checkpoints. And we talked about how that would be so much fun. And I said, well, I think it would be fun unless the weather was horrible. And Jeremy said, no, that makes it even more fun. And my argument was, well, that makes for better stories, but I don't think it makes it more fun. And he said the same thing. He said, the more challenging it is, the more rewarding it is to complete. So think about that today with your workout, that the more challenging it is, the more satisfying it's going to be when you actually complete it. So today, the WOD itself is a Tabata, which is a tough one. It doesn't ever sound hard, and for those of you, if this is your first Tabata, which it shouldn't be if you were doing your course from start to finish, but I know some people like to skip around. If this is the first time you've ever done a Tabata, that's 20 seconds of work followed by 10 seconds of rest for 8 rounds. And it doesn't sound that challenging, but it really is. So I'm excited to share it with you. So pace yourself, make good choices with your movement. We've done this almost exact Tabata 12 weeks ago. Okay, so I'll be super excited to hear the differences that you have made in yourself to therefore have differences within your workout. All right, so we're gonna start with a little bit more gentle warm up today. We wanna save our gas, in our tank for a little bit later in the series today. So go ahead, we're gonna start actually laying down on the mat. We're gonna begin with 2 rounds of a minute of bridging, straight leg raises, bicycles, and reverse dead bugs, okay? And I'll walk you through all of that so you don't have to remember, but at least so you know what's coming up. All right, so let's make sure yesterday's volume was not on very high, so let's make it so everyone can hear it. Okie dokie, artichokes. All right, so let's have you lay down on your back. Like I said, we're gonna begin with bridging, which is when you are like so, feet are up on the mat, knees are bent, feet are underneath you. So a couple different variations here. This is just a warm up, so I don't need you doing super challenging things. But the first warm up you're gonna do is just squeeze your butt to lift lightly off of the ground. And especially if some of you are doing this in the morning and you're a little bit stiff, you might need to restrict your range of motion until you open up a little bit more. So then if you're a little more comfortable, I'm gonna have you go ahead and lift a little bit higher by squeezing your bum to do the lifting. And then when you're ready, you can go all the way up to the top. That's exercise number 1. Number 2 will be a straight leg raise. And we're gonna be doing that for a minute. So as you get better and more comfortable, I want you to go up as high as you comfortably can. But this is not meant to be painful. This is just a nice way to open up range of motion at the hip, as well as stretch some of the nervous tissue and fascia in the posterior chain. And we'll do it a minute on each side. From there, we're gonna begin our abdominal series where we've got a little bit of bicycling. You can go ahead and support your neck if you would like. And what you're going to do is almost as if you were bicycling, making nice circles. Now, if you have trouble even having both feet up, what you can do is do 1 for 5 repetitions and then the other by keeping the opposite leg supported on the ground. So that way you you don't create any torque, or at least reduce torque on the lumbar spine. But if you're more like a level 2 and you can do small circles like you're bicycling, that's fine. If you're more of a level 3 and you've done bicycling before, you can go ahead and reach those all the way out. Then the last one we're gonna do is the reverse dead bug. And so this is where, you're gonna take your your right leg and your left arm, and you're gonna push them down into the ground behind you, okay? Then then you would switch and do the other side, where you would push them down into the ground behind you. Now, what I'm showing right now with my opposite leg bent, that is more so level 1. Level 2 is you're all the way out straight doing those, where we're pushing down one side and then the opposite arm. Level 3 is this leg is more in the air, okay? Like so, okay? So whatever versions are right for you, we're gonna do a minute of each 2 rounds, so we've just got some time to start waking up our body. All right, so go ahead and start bridging here on the clock. There we go, we're bridging, go ahead, right in. And remember, we're just starting slowly. That's why you have a minute, is so that you can gently explore that range of motion and allow each repetition to be slow and controlled. If you only have 30 seconds, sometimes that's not sufficient in these types of movements to get the blood flowing and get slight increase in heart rate, which we'll do a little bit more the second round. This is just a matter of connecting in with yourself and allowing these tissues to just wake up. There you go, good job everybody. Okay, we have straight leg raise on the left leg. So straighten that one out, reach it up as high as you comfortably can, and come back down. Squeeze my arm, take it nice and slow. You can also do that bent knee version if you get a hip pop and you want to avoid that. You can see I come up straight and I bend the knee to come down. You may also know that your other leg is pushing into the ground for that counterforce, especially to work to get this leg up. And that is totally normal and part of the reason we're doing this. So now, right leg is straight and left leg is bent. And we're coming up and down. Good, just exploring the range of motion you do have. Sometimes it's even nice to get your arms overhead so you can get a little bit more of a stretch to that nervous tissue. Because you know what? Your body is all connected. Everything is integrated. So when you change one thing, likely you affect another. So just by having the arms overhead stretches that neural tissue in a different way, that fascial tissue in a different way. As long as it's not painful or creating numbness or tingling, you are okay to continue up there. Add a little ankle rolls if it feels right. You're doing an amazing job. Should feel nice and yummy. After this, we have bicycles. How's everybody doing? Okay, after this, we have bicycles. Remember, if legs are off of the ground. And we can start nice and slow, nice and tiny. And if you need to have one leg off of the ground, you go ahead and do so. And do maybe 5 revolutions on one leg, and then you begin to switch. And as your legs start to get a little bit warmer here, you can go ahead and reach them out a little further. You want to make sure you're keeping your back flat though. If that back, as you start to reach all the way out there, starts to arch, that means you do not have control over your spine. We said before we like our vertebrae to stay where they are under load, and our abdominal muscles are creating quite a bit of load right now. And so we want those vertebrae and those segmental vertebrae to stay right where they are, to be stable, strong, and create that foundation for our muscles to push off of. Good. Now we're gonna go into that reverse dead bug. Arms are up, legs are down, and you're gonna push, alternating one side or another into the ground. So I have my left foot and my right arm pressing into the floor. Squeezing my glutes here. Good, and I'm just holding it for about 3 to 5 seconds. Just enough to create tension. Good, alternating opposite sides. And if this overhead position is too difficult, you can always bend your elbows. So I can always do that. That way, if you don't have the shoulder range of motion, you can still do this exercise. Good. We're going back to bridges. So now try to increase your range of motion and slightly increase your speed now. So you can see I'm not holding it as much this round. I'm moving through my range of motion with a little bit quicker pace. We want, again, you to do arms overhead. Since this warm-up is not directly a ton for the arms. And we've done before in the past some arm movements, so if you'd like to, you're welcome to add that in. It seems like a very simple movement for those of you who sit a lot at your job. Very simple, but yet very important to fire these muscles and work into hip extension, because when we sit, we're in flexion all day. Straight leg raises are next. You're gonna raise that up as far as you can and down. Up as far as you can and down. And if you need to add that bent knee version, you're welcome to do so, to avoid that hip pop that's in the front that sometimes happens with the hip flexors. I'm almost out of the woods with this left hip, but you can tell it still pops just a little bit because I don't have full stability back yet. And so because of that, I can work into a more successful range of motion by just bending the knee on the way down. As you get stronger, especially the hip and the lateral and the posterior hip complex, that popping should not happen as much, or if at all. We want to try to avoid that for people. It's not the worst thing in the world, but remember, your body gives you signals all day long. And that's a signal that I don't have stability. So to continue to do that to the joint probably isn't the best idea, right? All right, so you'll notice on this side, I'm keeping it straight up and straight down, both the up phase and the down phase. As you're starting to get better at these movements, start to be aware of your pelvis and what it is doing. If you have a lot of rocking or shifting at the pelvis, that means you do not have good core stability. So you may have to slow down until you have that, just because we want to make sure if that pelvis is rocking, chances are it's pulling your spine a little bit and creating micro movements, which create grinding under load, and we don't want that. We want to have good stability the whole time. Bicycles after this. That thigh and that hip should be getting a little bit tired. Almost done. I'm starting to get warm. Good job. Okay, now we've got bicycles. Coming up here, remember, we can keep both feet off of the ground and make them nice and tiny. Or if by now you're really warmed up, you can do the big long ones. Okay, and as we do this, watching again our pelvis and our lumbar spine to see, do we have a lot of wiggling? Do we have a lot of sloppiness in our control there? If you do, you can always have one leg come down to the ground to get you that stability while you're still working the range of motion. So you would do 5 on each side. Or you can keep both legs up and do small. Or if you're comfortable, you can go ahead and go right into the big. You have so many options here. But stay within the point where you have control. You're not getting popping, shifting, or sloppiness at the pelvis or lumbar spine. Okay, after this we have reverse dead bugs and we're out of our warm-up. Okay, arms are out straight. Arms are overhead. Okay, we're pressing into the ground with opposite appendages. So left leg, right arm, then right leg, left arm. Want minimal movement at the body here. Your glutes should be on, your shoulders should be on, mid-back should be on. Almost like you're trying to lift your body away from the floor by pressing down into the ground. Great job. This is the last one in our warm-up. Push down into that floor. Don't just lift up the opposite side. This is about pressing down into the ground. Creating that posterior chain, that posterior line, contraction and awareness there. Good. Okay, go ahead and just take a minute. Get ready. We're gonna flip up into our mermaid. Okay, back to our little ground game series here for a bit. We're gonna do just a little bit in our mermaid pose and then we'll do a little bit on our tummy as well. So we started with this position yesterday as well. And so what I first want you to do is we're gonna walk our hands out and then we're gonna come all the way back. So we're gonna work our full range of motion in this anterior posterior plane to begin. So walk your hands forward, walk your hands back, and lift overhead, leading with our thumbs behind you. So we're doing kind of a touch. If now you're ready, you may have to still walk and hands up. You may still walk it out if you don't want the lever arm. Walk it back. However you get forward and however you get your arms overhead is up to you. We've got 3 more. Reach it. Up and overhead. 2 more. Good. Let's do 1 more for bonus, just in case some folks are still coming and joining with us. I know some of you it takes a minute to set this position up, and I did not give that to you, so I apologize. Okay, now we're going to shift our hips up and raise into this position. Arms are out to the side. Now we're comboing here. You're going to gaze. It should be turn your palm up in the direction you're going to gaze. Turn your palm down in the opposite direction. So we're going to stay here, no weight shifting, just rotating and rotating our arms and turning our neck. We'll add the rotation and the lean here in a second. Alternating side to side at your pace. So now add a little bit of a lean in the direction you're rotating. This might feel a little bit different than when we did this at the bottom of this position. Some of you might feel a little bit unstable here, and that's okay. If you want to hint, fire the glute of your front leg. 2 more each side. 1, 2, and 2. Good. Come back down. Good. Forward walking. Lift those arms up and overhead. We've got 3 to get here. Forward for 2. And up. And forward, last one. Walk your hands back, up and overhead. Very good. Shift the weight forward into your lift. Arms out to the side, palms up. Gaze left, twist to your left, up, right, down. Go ahead and head right into your lean for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1. Good. Come back down, switch shin boxes, or switch mermaids. Okay? So we just loosened up that side. Now you get over to here, you go, whoa, that's a big difference. Okay, walk your hands out as far as you can. Walk your hands back, arms overhead. We're doing this 5 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good, raising up. Arms out to the side, palms up to begin. We're going to gaze left, rotate left up, right down. No lean first, just gazing and rotating. Good, for 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now add the lean. Lean and gaze and rotate. Lots of action here. 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Very good. Sit back down. Reach forward for 3. Come back up, arms up. Slide down. And come up, that's 2. 1 more, slide it out. Come back in, going up. All right, good, now coming back up into your elevated mermaid lift. Arms are out to the side, go right into your lean for 5. Nice. Really trying to push the limits here. See if you can get that pelvis to open up a little bit further as you lean. Feel it down here when you do it. Maybe up a little bit into the core as well. 2 more, here we go. 1, 2, and 2. Okay? Very, very good. Go ahead and sit back down. All right, go to your tummy for the last series in our mobility warm-up. Okay, our chin is tucked in. Our chest is going to be lifting off the ground, and so are our feet. Try to include both components. If you can't, you can go ahead and put your feet down, but try to do both, okay? Try to squeeze those glutes and lift those legs off of the ground. Lift that chest off of the ground as well. We're making our body nice and long. Again, the skin on the back of our neck has no wrinkles because our chin is in. So from this position, we're just going to do 12 angels and devils here. Arms are up, and they rotate all the way around to end with the back of our hands on our bum. And coming up and overhead for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, halfway, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Good. Very good. Okay, now we should be ready to go. All right, so now while I'm getting the timer set up, you go ahead and grab a drink of water, things like that. Well, you should be nice and warm and ready to roll today. I know I am. All right, So in this Tabata series, again, this is 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. So as you are thinking about this and planning accordingly, make sure that you are actually resting in between. Even though, especially in the beginning, it may not feel like you need it, take it. It would be the smart choice, okay? So the 4 exercise movements we're going to be using today are going to be, we're gonna start with squats, then we're gonna go into planks. So I'm just gonna go over those first 2 while we kind of take our break. So with a squat, you know you can get in and out of a chair. You can do a mini squat where you're in just the top 25 or 50% of the range of motion. So you're standing into half of the distance you have and then coming back up. That would be more of a mini squat. Then you can also do a full range of motion squat, and you can do a full range of motion squat with weight if you'd like. So those are kind of the levels that you can do for those. With the plank, the positions are very similar. You can start on an elevated surface, meaning not as far into your range of motion, just making sure shoulders are over your hands and your glutes are squeezed to make sure to protect the spine and engage your core. You can do that on the floor on your hands. You can also do it at the floor on your elbows. And then as well, you can even do an inverted plank where your feet are elevated, so now you're even farther into the range of motion. So you have to pick what is right for you. I know we've played with these positions a ton over the past 12 weeks, so find the version that fits you now. Not the version that fit you 12 weeks ago, potentially the version that fits you now. I know some people even play with a leg raise. Today, I want you to keep both feet on the ground so you can really work on squeezing the glutes of the legs together to create an even more abdominal contraction. When you lift the leg, you pick up too much hip flexor. So we want feet together on the floor so that your glutes can squeeze and activate. All right, so we're gonna start with squats and our planks. Are we ready? Let's do this. We're going right into it. 2 seconds, squats to begin. So 20 seconds. So we're going 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Look at me, I'm just doing that top range of motion, really sitting my hips back behind me because I'm loading my glutes first and foremost, and I'm driving the floor away from me out to the side. Okay, for those of you who are more advanced, I'm expecting full range of motion here, weights here, and greater speed than what I'm demonstrating. 10-second break. This is round 1. Woohoo! Here we go. You can go a little bit further into your range if you have it. And if you have available strength and endurance, I expect a little bit greater speed than what I'm showing here. This is round 2, everybody. Take your break and take it. It doesn't seem like it's so bad right now, but it builds. Here's round 3 coming up. So if you want to, you can kind of get after it. Get a little speed going, get your arms in there. I will show the sit to stand next. 5 seconds. Okay. Coming up. 3 seconds. And we can do sit to stands as well. Keeping our knees behind our toes. This is a great option for people who are still working on their form and have maybe a little bit too much tightness still in their hips, because you need good range of motion to get to the bottom part of the squat. Okay, come on. We're coming up. That was round 4. Next one's round 5. You can also do the mini version over the chair to indicate the hips. So I'm kind of hovering over the chair. Like so. See, you can tell to the step is 100% my range of motion. If you don't have that, bring the seat up to you. That was 5. So if you don't have that, you can also put padding down on the chair. But for those of you who have full range of motion, go. But maybe you can just kind of touch that so you're not going all the way into your range. Okay, this is, I think, round 6. Keep the pace, right? Keep the pace. Good. 2 more rounds. Let's do this. 4 more seconds. Hold on to your weights. I know some of you have vests. Let's do this. Grab your vest. Five seconds. Very good. 1 more round. Get that heart rate up. After this, you get some water. Let's do this. Keep a pace with me if you can. Challenge yourself. And if you're going faster than me, add a weight. 5 seconds. Burn, baby, burn. Woo, good job. We're out of the woods with squats. Get your water, get a break. We've talked about the different variations of planks. My apologies. I can't do the weighted versions today. So just for example, though, you can be here, squeezing your glutes. You can do straight arms on the floor as well. I'll be doing elbows today. All right, are we ready? 6 seconds. Meet me wherever you are. Take this down so I can count it. Go ahead, 3, 2, 1. So feet are together. Glutes are squeezed. We can do anything for 20 seconds, right? Good, rest. Rest, rest, rest. 5, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. You can also do this on your elbows if you'd like. But you want to try to pull your hands toward your toes or your elbows toward your toes. 5 seconds. Rest. Rest your shoulders as well here. Not just the abs. This is round 3. All right. Feels good to lay down. All right, back to work. 2 seconds. Here we go. This is round 4. After this, we're halfway. Actually, after this, we're over halfway. That's a better mindset to have. Good, rest. Make sure you're still squeezing your butt. When you do that, tuck your pelvis just a little bit. Want to make sure we keep the tension out of our spine. Round 5. Making sure I'm counting correctly here. Good. Making sure when you do this, try to keep that chin tucked in, just like we did during Angels and Devils, to make sure you're not crinking your neck. That's why I brought our timer over, so that I could see it a little bit better, because if I had to lean up and turn my neck, that's not good for me either. So if you can see me on the screen, that's great, but try not to keep your neck angled upward to see me the whole time. 1, relax. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, this is round 7. Here we go. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is 7, I'm sorry. We have 1 more after this. Keep breathing. Rest and good one. Squeeze those glutes, activate those shoulders. Squeeze that butt. Bring your legs together. You have 10 more seconds. Come on. We can do anything for 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Good. Catch your breath. Stop. Discourage. Okay. Catch your breath. The next two, while you're getting some water. The next two is we're going to do our forward jump, run backwards. So now that could be done in multiple different ways. Again, you can still be holding weights while you do this if you'd like. Makes it significantly more difficult on this one because it's harder to use the hands, okay? But what we're gonna do for the hard version is we're gonna jump forward, run it back. Whatever space you have, just make sure if you are on a mat or something along those lines as you do this, I know some of you are, make sure that mat's not gonna move on you. Because as I jump forward, you'll notice I've got the step here, this red step. This mat is pinned by that step, so I know when I jump, it's not gonna necessarily also come with me. Okay, so that's number one. If you don't like to jump, you may take a big step and kind of run it back. Big step, run it back, almost like a forward lunge. You can do it like that, or if you'd like, you can just take a large step without bending the knees and try to walk it or jog it back. But cross some distance on the way forward is the point. So accelerate and then have to change direction on the way back, okay? That's the first Tabata we're gonna do. The second Tabata is our dead bug. So on our backs, we have different versions here. We've done the version where one leg is down and we're just doing one side. If you are doing this version, you will alternate right and left sides each round. So you do 20 seconds like so, and then 20 seconds like so. Okay? The next version is up. This one you will alternate every repetition. Okay? And then you don't have to necessarily go the full range. You can also just keep your legs up and do only arms, or even just legs as you're working through your core control and your breath work, okay? So we have lots of versions for the jump forward or cross distance forward, and then jogging back or walking back. And then you also have multiple different versions on the dead bug, depending upon where you are at your level. All right? So let's get rolling. So we're starting with our jumps or steps forward and our walk and jogging back, okay? We have 3 seconds on the clock. Here we go. So remember, we can jump it, kind of step it forward like that, or we can do the big. It's up to you. Find the version that works for you, especially based on your space that you have. Good, that's round one. This one's a little bit more heart heavy, okay? Make sure you're landing softly. 2 seconds. And I'm gonna take that big step, show you that one. Okay, now I'm going to do just the big step, no lunge, for round 3. Or for those of you who are able, big jump. But get out of that comfort zone as far as your reach goes. When we just move with our legs underneath us all the time, we don't really work on our balance and our muscles in those outer ranges. So it's really important to stretch the reach there, okay? Woohoo! Here we go, I'm doing jumps now. 3 seconds. Go! And jog it back. Go! And jog it back. Three seconds. I'll get one more in. Good. guess it might be around 5. Remember, there's 3 different versions to get out here. Either jump it, lunge it, or step it. 2 versions to get back. Walk it or jog it. Okay, I'm going to do step next, so you can see those 3 versions going forward. I'm assuming you guys know the walking back or the jogging back. Okay, big step or jump or lunge. Reach. Reach. All right, we got 2 more rounds. I'm jumping. What are you doing? Woohoo! 3, 2, 1, go. Load and explode. You'll notice I'm even getting my arms in here. Good. One more round. Okay? Hopefully you guys are doing okay. One more round. I love jumping. I think it's fun. I think it's a wonderful skill to have. But a lot of times we don't do it in our days. But we do it a ton when we're kids. It's a playful, powerful movement. But it's important to know how to explode and yet still land. Okay? Dead bugs. 5 seconds. We're going in. I'll show you level 1. Okay, so level 1s have their one leg down, and they're doing the opening or the leg extension and the arm overhead motion just on one side. Good. Level 1s will stay with one leg on the ground. Work the other side. Everybody else, legs are up. Okay? This is the other side for the level 1s. Keep breathing here. We're not holding our breath. That creates pressure in the abdomen. We do not need more pressure. We need pressure control. So breathe. Allow that pressure to distribute. Okay, everybody else, level 1s are going to stay right there. Level 2s, your arms are up. And maybe you're just doing arms or legs. Level 3s, you're doing both. Alternating each side if you have your legs off of the ground. Whereas level 1s, you're staying on the same side each round. You can rest on the ground in between. I would highly recommend that. Let those muscles relax. Breathing in with our abdomen. Good. Legs are up, arms are up. Go. Remember, you can do just arms if you want to. Or just legs. Good. Take a break. Doing awesome. Woohoo! Let's do this. Good job, rest. Let's see, we did 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is round 6. Okay, remember, you can do arms or just legs. Whatever version suits you. Okay, resting. You're doing great. Whew. a level 1. Keep your breath. Good, other side. Okay, this is the last one, okay? Last one here, guys. Almost done. Keep that core nice and tight. Back is not moving or shifting. Woo! You did it! Great job. Okay, grab a little bit of water if you need it, a little bit of air, but hopefully you feel like this wasn't too much on the cardiorespiratory piece, right? This shouldn't have been terrible on that front. Okay, so now we just need to cool down a little bit, so I want you to meet me back into mermaid pose. But again, the heart rate should already be down fairly well. So in this position, I want you to close your eyes. Have palms up on your legs wherever they fall. And you shouldn't have to work terribly hard to get your breath right now. But still, get control of your breath and lower your heart rate and your respiratory rate. And I want you to feel what belly breathing feels like in this position. And you might find you don't feel like you have a ton of range of motion here, but you will as you breathe into practice. So big inhale when you're ready. We're going to do an 8 count at least exhale. You can make that S sound or a pursed lip breathing like you're breathing out into a flute, whatever you would like. So inhale, exhale all the way. And then release the abs. We're not doing a total forced exhale here where we're just contracting every single muscle we have to get every molecule of breath out. This is just trying to open and expand what we do have with grace and ease. So go ahead and inhale again, big 8-second exhale. One more time. Exhale all the way out, but don't force it. Just do what you can. Now you should find after doing those larger exhales that you have more room now. Take a little deeper breath, find a little greater space. So when you're ready, go ahead and switch sides with your legs. Again, palms are up. Find your breath. Inhale and then exhale for 8. Now you might feel a little more action in your lateral kind of posterior, so the back side body here as you're beginning this breath. And it should be on the side of the leg that's in front that you'll find a little more space in that quadrant there, okay? So one more inhale, 8-second exhale. And then remembering as you come out of that exhale, you just want to release the tension in your abdomen, and that will cause the air to flood inward, but you don't want to force it. Last inhale of the day before you head out and you move on with your life today. So inhale fully into that belly. Exhale for 8. Nicely done. You did an amazing job today. I'm very proud of you. You worked hard, you challenged yourself, and hopefully your sense of accomplishment matches with the amount of challenge that you got. But if you left this workout feeling like, no big deal, then you didn't challenge yourself enough. We love you more than you know. Have a great day.